So you want to start a pet sitting and dog walking business, but you're not sure where to start? In this video, I'm going to give you a full outline of everything that you need to know. For those of you that don't know, I'm Doug the Dog Guy, owner and founder of Bad to the Bone Pet Care. I've been a full-time professional pet sitter and dog walker for over 7 years, and I've built an award-winning team of pet sitters and dog walkers covering Northeast and Central Florida. Starting my own pet sitting and dog walking business has been such an incredible journey. And my hope is that by sharing my story and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way, that you can start your own business without some of the hurdles that I had to go through. I knew nothing about pet care or running a business when I decided to start Bad to the Bone over 7 years ago, and I have learned everything day by day the hard way. I'm not an expert, I'm not a guru, I'm not a business coach, and I'm not gonna try to sell you anything. I am just Doug the Dog Guy trying to share my knowledge and my story with you, a future petpreneur, so that you can start your business off on the right track. Obviously, you're already thinking about starting a business if you're watching this video, but I want to take a step back from where you are now, and I want you to think about why. Why do you want to be a pet sitter or dog walker? And why do you want to start your own business instead of going to work for someone else? Knowing the reason that you want to get into pet care and want to start a business from day one will make your entire journey so much easier. So just set aside everything, do some meditating, go on a walk, do some soul searching, and really think about why you want to do this. Make a list, write it all down, and never lose track of it. 5 years from now, when you're having a bad day, you're walking dogs in the rain, you're understaffed, there's some issue going on in your business, you'll be able to look back at your why and it'll all make sense. Now that you've thought about why you want to get into this in the first place, start putting some thought into what kind of pet sitter you want to be. Do you want to be an occasional pet sitter and just make occasional gigs, work around your other full-time career and your personal life? Or are you wanting to go full on and start a huge business? There's a million different avenues that you can go down. There's all kinds of different things that you can do in the pet industry. So think about what that looks like for you and your life. If you're wanting to jump right in and be a full-time pet sitter and dog walker and really grow your business, you need to make sure that you have enough saved up to pay all of your bills and your living expenses for the first few months, because there is some lead time that you will need to get enough clients to be profitable and live a comfortable life. I started by just doing occasional pet sitting around my other full-time job. And as I got more clients and as the business picked up, I cut my hours back slowly but surely at my other job until I was able to quit and do this full time. And then as new client requests came in after that, I was able to hire people as needed and grow the business outward that way. This was a really good way to do it because I was able to get my feet wet and learn a lot of hard lessons while I still had that other source of income. And while there's a million different ways to go about this, that is how I would suggest starting your business. When you're starting to do this preliminary thought process and planning, you really need to do some soul searching and think about, do you have a good understanding of an animal's needs and how they communicate those needs through their body language? And are you okay with walking miles on end in the heat or in the rain or in the snow, depending on where you are? Are you okay with getting peed on? Are you okay with not seeing another person in real life for days on end? Some other things that you need to think of starting off is, do you have a good sense of customer service? Because that's really what pet sitting and dog walking comes down to. You need to know how to deal with incoming clients and recurring clients and angry clients and happy clients and anything and everything in between. So if you've never worked a customer service job before, I would definitely suggest going and being a server at a restaurant or some form of customer service so that you can really see what it's like to deal with people and deal with families in these different situations before you decide to do this as your full-time business. And speaking of dealing with people and customer service, you also need to make sure that you're comfortable being in strangers' homes. Because as pet sitters and dog walkers, that's what we're doing. We're in strangers' homes. And that can be extremely uncomfortable for some people. So know yourself and know that you are okay with all of this stuff before you jump in. Something that could be really beneficial to you while you're doing this preliminary planning, it would be to join some pet sitter and dog walker Facebook groups. This will allow you the opportunity to see how pet sitters and dog walkers deal with different situations, read some of the advice that they're giving in these groups, and overall just see what it looks like to be a pet sitter and dog walker without ever actually having to do it yourself. So now that you've thought about why you want to get into the pet industry, what kind of pet sitter and dog walker you want to be, and now that you're learning from your peers in these Facebook groups, now is time to start doing some market research. And I would really start by just asking yourself the question, does my community need another pet sitting and dog walking business? And of course, if you want to start a pet sitting and dog walking business, your innate reaction is going to be, yes, of course. Why wouldn't my community need another business? But that's not necessarily the case. One really easy, simple way to see if your community actually does need another pet sitting and dog walking business would be to just contact the already existing pet sitters and dog walkers in your area. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. It doesn't have to be awkward. Just ring them up and say, hey, I'm Doug. I'm thinking about starting a pet sitting and dog walking business in our town. I really love what I see you doing. And I'm curious, are you getting flooded with new client requests or are you struggling to acquire new clients? And this would be a good opportunity if they say that they are getting flooded with requests, say, hey, I'd be happy to help you with some of those. I can pay you a referral fee for the clients that you don't want to handle, or work some kind of arrangement out while you have them on the phone doing this preliminary research. And of course, tell them you're not an actual business yet, you haven't started, you're just doing your research, and that you'll start this referral agreement or whatever you've discussed, when you get your boots off the ground, and that you will be in contact in the future. You could end up being surprised and hear that all the businesses in your area are struggling to find clients. If that's the case, then maybe you want to look at a different industry. Or maybe you just want to offer different pet sitting and dog walking services than the businesses around you so that you can appeal to a little bit different audience. So now that you're sure that your community can handle another pet sitting and dog walking business, now is the time that you want to start getting your feet wet. And I really suggest doing some pet sitting and dog walking for coworkers, neighbors, friends, family before you start your business. Doing these couple clients ahead of time will show you if it's really right for you and will let you start honing in on what you're good at and what you would like to do with your business in the future. If your friends and family don't want you to be their pet sitter, that's a really good opportunity for you to do some more research, both on the industry and on yourself. You should ask them why they don't want you to be your pet sitter. Maybe it's something about you or your care techniques, something about your personality that makes you not a right fit for this. If your friends and family don't have pets that they can share with you, you may want to look into signing up with one of the big box companies like Rover or Wag just to do a couple clients before you get started. And again, just see if this is right for you before starting your own business. And I know that Rover and Wag have a terrible reputation in the pet care industry, and they just automatically put a bad taste in a lot of people's minds, especially people that are already established in the industry like myself. But that being said, we shouldn't discredit the opportunity that they do give new pet professionals. You should not look at these big box platforms as a way to start and run your own business. You should really only look at them as an opportunity to try out pet sitting and dog walking before starting your own business. Or maybe by being an independent contractor for Rover or WAG or another local company, could show you that you would rather go that route than start your own business. Again, you can make this whatever you want it to be, and it's all about doing soul searching and research and gathering as much data about you, the possible services that you could be offering, and the pet industry around you before you spend any money or time on starting your business. So now that you've thought about why you want to get into the pet industry, you've thought about what kind of pet sitter and dog walker you want to be, you've done some market research and determined that your community can handle another pet sitting and dog walking business, and you've done a couple test clients, the next step is to start thinking about what kind of actual services you want to be offering. As a pet sitter and dog walker, the sky is really the limit with this. There are pet sitters that only deal with farm care and cattle and things like that. There are pet sitters that only do midday dog walks in the downtown area. There are pet sitters that do overnight care. There are pet sitters that do boarding in their own home. The sky is the limit. You can make this whatever you want to be. So just think about what you're good at, what you want to do, and how that can benefit your community and your potential clients. And this is a really good opportunity to reach out to your neighbors, your coworkers, reach out on Facebook, do as much research as you can about what your community needs. If there's 10 other pet sitting businesses in your area and they're all offering the exact same services, that's a really good clue that you should offer something else. And yeah, it may not be exactly what you want to offer, but merge it, create a unique service that fits your wants and needs with your community's wants and needs. Also, while you're thinking about what kind of services you're going to offer, you need to think about what your exact service area is going to be, because different areas are going to want and need different services. And you're going to want to know where your boundaries are when you start getting new client requests. One of the fastest ways to get burnt out as a pet sitter and dog walker is to start taking clients that are way outside of your service area, and you're having to drive all over town and do these different things that you really didn't set out to do. So set a service area to go with your services, and then go contact other pet sitting businesses that are outside of your service area. Set up those referral agreements so that every new client request that comes into you, you can either take it yourself or send them to another trusted local provider. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's crazy. Why would I want to send new clients to another pet sitting business when I haven't even started my own business yet? But you need to think about down the line, about the big picture and your future goals, and start shaping everything around that from day one. Not only will this make you happier, I guarantee you it will make you more profitable in the long run, and it will put you in better standing with those potential clients and the other pet businesses in your area. So the next step would be to think about pricing, and I will create an entire other video about how to price your pet sitting and dog walking services, and I will link to that down below once I have made that video. But just to get you started, think about what your time is worth. What could you make per hour if you went and worked another job? Not only should you think about what your time is worth, but you should also think about what these services are worth in general. And to get a good idea of that, you would want to look at what the other pet sitters and dog walkers in your area are charging. But again, don't base your prices based off of just what the other businesses are charging. You need to think about what you and your skill set, your experience, and your time is worth in comparison to the other possible pet sitters and dog walkers in your area. Okay, so now you have thought about why you want to get into this. You've written down your why. You've thought about what kind of pet sitter you want to be. You've done the research and determined that your community can handle another business. You've done a couple test clients. You've decided where you are going to be offering services and which services you are going to be offering in that area. You've set prices around said services. So the next step would be to think about what kind of people, what kind of families you want to be working with. And what I want you to do is create an avatar of your ideal client. Get out a pen and paper and write down exactly the type of person and dog you want to be working with. And get detailed because this is going to really help your marketing down the line. Okay, so now that you know what kind of clients you want to be working with, you need to decide how they are going to contact you. Are you going to have a website with a sign-up form? Are you going to have a Facebook page that they can message you through? Do you want people to just call or text you? And if that's the case, do you want that to be done on your personal number or a separate business number? Think about what is going to be best for both you, your business, and your clients as far as this communication and onboarding process goes. And as you're thinking about the onboarding process, you need to think about what you need to know from these people. When they fill out the sign-up form on your website or when they call you and you're asking them questions, you need to have a list of everything that you need to know. And this is going to vary from person to person, business to business. So think about what you need to know as just a person, as a pet care provider, and what you need to know to run your business efficiently and effectively and be able to provide the type of service that your clients are expecting and deserving. And just make sure that you have a way to gather this information, whether it's questions on a form on your website or questions that you have written down and memorized to ask on the phone. You just need to think about this before people start contacting you and you start walking in blindly. And when you're putting thought into how clients will contact you and the information that you need from them, you also need to think about how you're going to do scheduling. Are you going to have clients just text you when they need you? Or are you going to do like a shared Google Calendar where they can put requests on there? Or are you going to use a full-on platform like Time to Pet or Pet Sitters Plus that manages all this for you? There's a million different ways to go about it. I know many different businesses that do this very differently. I've changed how I have done this several times throughout my time in business. But you need to make sure that you have some kind of process and procedure in place before you open your doors. Next, you need to think about what your policies are going to be and how you are going to get people to agree to those policies. I would definitely recommend that one of your policies be to have clients pay before you arrive for the pet sitting visit. That's just one of dozens and dozens of policies that you should and could have in place. But do some research on this. Think about what's important to you. Look at what some other businesses are asking for. Again, this is something else that I will probably make another video on and link it down below. You need to make sure that you have permission to use the pictures that you take of their pets on your social media. You need to make sure that you have a veterinary release form should an emergency arise. Anything and everything that is going to be detrimental to how you operate your business, you need to have in writing and have these people agree to it. And once you've gotten this all formulated, you've got to decide how you're going to get them to agree to it. And what I mean by this is, Are you gonna print all this out and take it to the meet and greet and have them hand sign it, and then you're gonna have a filing cabinet where it's all stored away safe and secure somewhere? Or are you gonna use a digital platform, something like DocuSign, where you sign up for like a monthly subscription and have them digitally agree to all this before you ever go meet them? Again, there's just different ways to go about it, but just think about all of this and have it all in place before you start getting clients and actually operating your business. And again, I know that I've already said this, but it's just so important. Once you've gathered this information from your clients and you've had them agree to these policies, you've got to have a way to keep track of all of this and stay organized. There's different ways to go about it. I would honestly recommend that you just go ahead and sign up for a pet sitting software. There's plenty of them out there and they're not that expensive and they make this entire process so easy. But you can do it without a software, but just make sure that you have a way to keep track of everything before you have anything to keep track of. The last thing that you want is to have just piles of information from dozens of different clients and not know what to do with it. That is a surefire way for things to fall through the cracks and for your life to just be a mess. And another thing that goes hand in hand with everything else that I just talked about is the method of payment. This has got to be one of your policies that the clients are going to agree to. I already said that I would recommend having clients pay you before you arrive, but how are you going to get that payment? Are you going to have them pay via credit card online ahead of time? Or are you going to have them send a check via carrier pigeon a month later or something in between? You know, there's a million different ways to go about it, but you've got to have an organized set structure for accepting and keeping track of all of these payments. The last thing you want to do is come the end of the week, be asking yourself, oh my God, did this client pay me? What did I do with the payment? Did I lose it? Where is it? I can't remember if they even paid or not. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have all this stuff figured out before you get any clients, before you start your business. Okay, so now you've thought about why you want to get into the pet industry and start a business. You've thought about what kind of pet sitter you want to be. You've thought about what kind of services that you're going to offer and where you're going to offer them. You've tested this and done the market research around it. You've set up services and prices and policies and procedures to go around these services and prices, and you've created an avatar of what kind of person you're looking to attract for said services. The next step is to actually start your business. Notice nowhere in all of this have I mentioned actually registering for a business, signing up for insurance, or doing any of that. You want to do all this planning, all this research, all this thought process before you start registering as a business, before you start signing up for things and spending money. Get all of this other stuff out of the way first. I swear, I promise, it will make your life easier in the long run. Once you've got all that stuff figured out, then you can decide on what your business is going to be named. Go and see if that name is even available for use. If it is, then register to use it in your state and in your county if that is necessary. Check your local laws on that. They vary from state to state and county to county on how the registration process works. So now get registered, go through that process. One little tidbit I'll throw in here is you can hire an attorney to do all of this for you. Then that will cost you thousands of dollars, or you can do this yourself. And I know it sounds daunting to think about having to go through all this paperwork and go through the state and go through your county and blah, 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 blah. It can sound overwhelming, but just break it down step by step, bit by bit, day by day, and watch YouTube videos. Look at WikiHow. You can figure it out yourself and save yourself all those attorney fees. I did it. I did it all myself. I figured it out day by day. And if I could do it, then I guarantee you can too. Now that you've registered as a business, the next step would be to get insurance. There's several different pet business insurers around. I would recommend looking at all of them, comparing the policies, comparing the prices of said policies. You're going to want to start with at least a general liability plan, but get as comprehensive insurance as you can possibly get would be my recommendation. A lot of business insurers will offer a la carte services. So maybe starting out, you'll start with like a general liability plan with pet sitting and dog walking. And then as your business expands down the line, you can add other a la carte items to your insurance as you need them. And when getting your insurance, you can also get your bonding at the same time, usually through the same business that you're getting your insurance from. If your insurance company does not offer bonding, then you'll have to get it elsewhere. But having insurance and bonding to go with your business license that you have acquired is going to be extremely important to make yourself stand out as not only a pet sitter and dog walker, but just as a business in general. Okay, congrats. You're now an official business. You now have policies, procedures, services, prices, everything figured out. You're registered. You have insurance, all this good stuff. The next step would be to contact those other businesses that you already talked to in the market research process and say, hey, I'm up and running now. Let's set up some referral agreements. Tell me how I can help you and your business and your clients. Again, you want to stay in good standing with everyone in your community. And if you can get some clients from other businesses and help other businesses along the way, then that is going to be amazing. And while you're doing this, you're going to want to build a website. You're going to want to start a Facebook page. You're going to want to sign up on Instagram. As many of these things as you can logically, feasibly handle yourself, do it. And I'm not saying to sign up on every social media platform and start pumping out just tons and tons of content on day one. That's probably not feasible for most people that are starting just as a solo petpreneur. But so start with at least a website and a Facebook page and then branch out from there. I would really recommend Instagram and having a Google My Business page. If you can handle running a Pinterest or a TikTok on top of all of that, then that is fabulous, but at least a Facebook page and a website. Now that people know that you're in business and you have a website for them to look at with all of your services and your service area and your policies and prices listed on said website, and you've contacted the other pet businesses in your area, another thing that I would suggest is to reach out to dog trainers, to groomers, to veterinarians, anyone in your community that could be a resource to you and that you could be a resource to in return. You want to get to know them. Go have coffee with them. Go join them on a dog walk or on a dog training visit. Whatever it is that you can arrange that you're comfortable with, get your feet in and make these connections on day one. It is going to help you so much down the line. Now would also be a good time to order some business cards and or flyers and brochures. And once you get those, you're gonna wanna start handing them out everywhere. It's so important to just get the word out when you're starting this new business. Every single person that you meet, you should be putting a business card or a brochure or a flyer in their hand. When you go out to eat, leave a business card or a brochure on the table. You know, if there's a local coffee shop in your neighborhood that will allow you to put your brochures out on the counter, do that. You know, get the word out in any and every way that you can. Be budget minded though when you're first getting started, because a lot of this is going to be trial and error. you may do all of this and then decide, oh, I need to adjust my services, I need to adjust my prices, I need to adjust my area, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have just tons of printed marketing material with your original information on it, it's going to be a lot harder for you to make these transitions and these shifts. So start with just the basic brochure and a business card, and then once you get everything really solid and everything is rocking and rolling for you, that's when you can start looking into a little bit higher caliber and higher cost marketing, such as printed shirts or big banners at local parks or magnets on your car, things like that. And then another thing I would also suggest right along with all of this is to be running some ads, whether it's on Facebook to go with your Facebook page, or Google ads to go with your website. And again, this is something that you can teach yourself day by day, step by step. It sounds really overwhelming when you're getting started, building a website and managing the SEO and running PPC ads. It sounds overwhelming, but I promise you it's not that overwhelming. There's YouTube videos for all of it. And if you decide that's not what you want to do, that's not your wheelhouse, there are tons of companies that will gladly handle that for you. You're just going to have to be willing to pay for that service. So now that you're starting to get clients and actually be a pet sitter and run your pet care business, you need to make sure that you have all the proper supplies. A bare minimum would be to have an extra leash and an extra harness, as well as good walking shoes and a cell phone that takes good photos. A cell phone with a good camera would be a bare minimum to get started. I would also recommend that you buy a box of key tags so that you don't get your clients' keys mixed matched. I would also recommend that you get a first aid kit to carry with you, not just a human first aid kit, but also a pet first aid kit as well. And you're also going to need treats and poo bags, tons of poo bags, thousands of poo bags. I order poo bags 20,000 at a time, and I usually will place an order for 20,000 poop bags a couple times a year. That's how much poop we're picking up as pet sitters and dog walkers, and that adds up. The price of the poop bags adds up. That's something you don't think about when you're thinking about starting a pet sitting and dog walking business. It's like, oh, poop bags, whatever, minuscule cost. Wrong. I spend hundreds of dollars on poop bags. Okay, and now at this point, you should be set. You should be absolutely prepared to operate your new business. Congrats. So now that you're rocking and rolling and your business is awesome, the only other thing that I would suggest you look at is to continually do market research. All that stuff that we talked about at the beginning, you're going to want to continually do that, because the pet industry and your clients' needs and wants and desires are all going to be changing constantly. So you're going to want to make sure that you are ahead of the curve at all times. And a good way to do that would be to join some organizations, both locally and industry specific. So on a local basis, you might have a small business guild that you could join, or a chamber of commerce that you could join. And on the industry specific wide, you have the NAPS, National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. You have PSI, Pet Sitters International. And then you even have local organizations like here in Jacksonville. I have started the Northeast Florida Pet Professionals Association. So you could look into starting an association of your own. I know this has been a lot of information. I know it's been a long video, but I hope this has been a really good resource for you and your future business. Again, I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm just a guy sharing my knowledge with you. I'm happy to help any way that I can. I love helping other pet lovers and petpreneurs with their journey, their passion, their goal of creating this awesome business. You can contact me down in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe and like and share this video if you want to see more content like this in the future. You can also check out my Facebook page, Bad to the Bone Pet Care. I'm on Instagram at Bad to the Bone Pet Care as well. Stay positive.